Hey everyone, let's talk a little bit about authors and social media, because I think we can all agree that the relationship between a reader and the author has changed dramatically through social media. We now follow them on Twitter, we watch their YouTube channels, we read their blogs, we can just find out everything about the author that we want, and we can interact with them a lot, and they interact with us a lot more than they used to in the past. And I'm not really sure if I like that. Okay, from the point of view of having a conversation about a book and getting some feedback and find out more what the author's intentions were and know more about the author, and that helps us interpret the book and what we think about it, that's kind of interesting. But it also has a negative side, because looking at John Green books, for example, I know John Green's voice and his ideas so well that I know how he wants us to interpret his books, that I know how he wants us to read it, and I cannot read a book of his without hearing his voice in my head, which is not a bad thing, but it changes the experience of the book. And it also affects what I read. I notice that if I don't like the author or how he behaves in real life, I tend to not want to read his books, or I tend to not like his writing anymore. And all of that might not have been if I hadn't known all these things about him. Like when I think of all the classic authors, of all the people who are dead, who cannot say anything stupid anymore and may have done so in the past, but I just don't know without going into much research. Their books are not spoiled by their bad character. But today, there are some people who really have a shitty character, but maybe writing good books. And I'm kind of stuck there. Do I want to read them or not? And do I want to support these people by reading their wonderful books? I guess I'd rather not know if the author I like is an asshole or not. I don't only think that this has affected the reader alone and his attitude to the author. I also think that it has affected the author and all the expectations the readers have on him. That he tries to be a nice guy. He tries to fulfill what the readers want. I think, maybe, I don't know. But there's a lot more pressure in doing what the readers want than there has been in the past. And I don't know if that is a good thing. Just imagine an author like J.K. Rowling, who has a series in her mind and knows what she wants to do with it. And then social media happens and everybody says like, oh, I hope this happens. I hope that happens. I hope this doesn't happen. And if something that the fans didn't want happens, they're mad at the author. So should the author change what he wanted to do, change his original story to go with the flow and have it develop with what the fans want or what the fans think they want? Or should the author give us the story that he intended to write in the first place? I don't really have answers for any of this, because I do understand the exhilarating experience when the author contacts you and says like, well, thank you for the review, or thank you for buying my book, or that was really nice what you said. I experienced that myself and found it somewhat weird, but also nice. But it still was weird. And I think it's something of the new social media that is becoming more and more frequent and more normal, that we interact with the authors and that we meet them. And I know a lot of you probably like that more. So tell me in comments what you think about this and what you like about the interaction with the author.